Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Yong Pratt, your host of the podcast and the chief dreamer here at Our Young Creators. And today I have a special guest for all of you. Our guest today is Kim McGee. Now, Kim is a 15-year pastry chef baker who is now helping meat eaters learn to love their veggies so they can heal and transform their bodies from the inside out. And she's also the host of In the Kitchen with Kim. Kim, thank you for saying yes to this interview and for being a guest here on the podcast.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here because one of the things that I love most about what you do is that you're transforming even the most delicious comfort foods that are not so good for us, are filled with all the yuck. You take those and transform those into amazing, usually plant-based options. And I just love how you're able to satisfy us with what we really want and make it healthier for us.
Yes, that was pretty much my goal from the very beginning. I love those comfort foods as well. That was one of my weaknesses. So I just really wanted to bring a spin um, on the traditional comfort foods that we're used to eating, that we know and that we love and that we grew up on. So when I create meals, or when I'm getting inspiration for my meals, that's what I'm definitely going for. Is for those traditional foods that we all know and love, where everything just doesn't look like a bowl of salad, but it's much greater than that, and the taste match. So that's what I really love as well.
That is huge because I have definitely been on the other side where I've made things and it's supposed to be a healthier version. Number one, it tastes nothing like what I want to eat. And number two, it looks awful. So I really don't want to eat it. So thank you for realizing that there are people out there who want things to not only look great, but taste great as well.
Yes, yes, that's we're visual creatures. So we see things first. So if it really looks good, then we're curious or it piques our interest. And then we're like, okay, let me taste that. Let me give it a try. And then if it tastes good, oh, then you're sold. So yeah, it's important that it actually tastes good. And for me, that's a one of the things that I really found out because I've been cooking for a long time. And, when you see recipes online or through a video, majority of the time they're not giving you the exact recipe. They're leaving something out. So with my recipes, I give you the full thing. I leave nothing out so it can taste exactly how it looks or that I say it's going to taste. And I do that for a reason. It's all about giving, it's all about serving. So I'm not trying to keep anything or hold anything back to let my audience or my community figure it out for themselves. I'm taking all of the hard work out and I'm doing that for them and just giving them the recipe.
That is so appreciated because, yes, I've been on the receiving end of that as well, where I think someone's going to teach me how to do it and they maybe list the first three ingredients. And then for the rest, they make you do a bunch of other things that no one has time for a lot of times. So
Mhm.
thank you for doing that.
You're
I
welcome.
would love to go back and talk about how you transitioned from being a pastry chef into doing more plant-based teachings.
Okay. Well, it all started about 5 years ago, and I didn't get right into the plant-based, but I transitioned just the way that I started eating. So traditionally, I just ate whatever, I snacked all the time. I bought the traditional stuff like the cookies, the chips. I was eating GMO foods, which is genetically modified organisms. I was eating GMO. I didn't know the difference between between GMO and non-GMO. So these were the things that I was bringing into my household, feeding my kids, and we just felt horrible. We started gaining a lot of weight. I started having all kind of symptoms. I had headaches all of the time. I was feeling fatigued. I really had no energy. Um, I was looking older than what I really was, and I was feeling that way as well. So it actually happened. Me and my husband, we were celebrating, I think it was our 12th year anniversary at the Hilton Hotel. And a lady came around and she wanted to take pictures. So we took pictures, we got them back. When I got home, I really looked at the pictures and I was like, oh my goodness, this does not look like us. Me and my husband, we had looked like two totally different people. And when you see yourself every day, you really don't notice the changes, but there's something about a picture
Mhm.
that will really show you what's going on. So from there, we just decided to change the way we eat, slowly incorporate healthier things. So we ditched all of the GMOs. We ditched the high fructose corn syrup. We ditched the soy. We started shopping at the farmers market and like Whole Foods. We started to purchase non-GMO foods. I started reading labels. So it was just like a slow transition. But once we got used to that and we started seeing the results and we started feeling better, we just went all in. We just decided to eat plant-based, and I started with sides. I started making all of the side dishes. I put my little spin on it, of course, but we omitted the meat. And I'm 80% vegan.
Amazing.
Yes, I'm 80% vegan. My husband is 100% vegan. I tried that lifestyle, but it just didn't work out for me. So, my motto is 80% vegan plus 20% indulgence equals a happy balance. And what I do is I eat plant based at least 4 to 5 times a week. And then the other 2 to 3 days, if I want to indulge or if I have a craving, then I just go for it and then I get right back to eating my veggies. So there's no shame, there's no guilt, there's really no diet or restriction because this is a journey that leads to a healthy lifestyle. So that's the message I really want to get across. This is not a diet. It's just a journey that leads to a healthy lifestyle. And everyone has their own journey, everyone has their own walk. So, yeah, you just take your time and just do you.
And this idea of 80/20, I think when people think about changing from their regular diet now to plant based, it's almost like they go into panic mode. So I
Yeah,
love that you're giving them permission to say, you know what, 80% is good, but start
yeah,
where you are and build up. I
yeah.
want to know when you started changing things in your diet, what were some of the changes, maybe physically, that you were experiencing when you did that?
Okay, so what were the changes physically as far as good or bad?
Anything you want to share, the good, the bad, the ugly. What were some things that you experienced that made you jump up and down? Maybe the things that
Oh,
were a little
okay.
harder.
Okay, so first of all, the energy, because I had no energy. Literally, I felt sleepy all of the time. And this is even before I had my daughter. And I was wondering what was really going on. So the energy was through the roof, first of all. Then my skin, it just glows. And it didn't really glow like that before. I know when you're pregnant, you have a pregnancy glow. Now that glow is just like permanent. People always say that my skin is glowing. Um, the mucus, it really gets rid of a lot of mucus that you have in your body. So I don't snore anymore, which is like a really a plus for me because between me and my husband, it was just like a nightmare. Um, and then it was, we would race on who would fall asleep the fastest so we wouldn't hear each other snore. And we're not the type of couple we're like, okay, you're gonna go to the couch. So we just dealt with it. But that has completely changed. It's gone. We can have a peaceful night's sleep. So that's a good thing. Another good thing is I don't have any more joint pain. I was starting to get joint pain in my fingers, in my knees, in my legs. So that's totally gone. And yeah, I feel the best that I've ever felt. Yeah. And I'm 42, so it's just up from here.
And for all the moms out there, even if your only result was glowing skin and people were telling you your skin was glowing, I would take that any day. Give me that and I'd be happy.
Yeah, and I actually lost about 25 pounds, which is a good thing. And I haven't worked out not one bit yet. Not one bit. So, coming up for 2019, I plan on incorporating exercise routine, but I haven't worked out just yet. But it's still amazing. I feel lighter. I can fit my clothes better, and it's exciting. I go in my closet and I pull out some of my old stuff, and I was like, what? I can actually fit it now. So that's a good thing as well. Yeah.
That is a good day when you can pull out those old clothes from the back of the closet and they go on and look good. Great day.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I would love to talk about how this kind of lifestyle, how this kind of nutrition works with kids. Do kids need to do these things? Is it good for them? Is it bad for them? Tell me all.
Okay, yes. Okay, so right now I have two of my kids living in my household because the older one, he has his own place or whatever. So I have a 3-year old and a 15-year old. My 3-year old, she's been a vegan for about as long as me. So about a year, almost a year and a half. And she indulges from time to time, but the majority of the time she eats plant based. And this is by her request. She loves her fruits. She loves her veggies. She really doesn't like candy, which is a good thing. She doesn't like juice a whole lot, which is a good thing. So when you incorporate these things or this way of living or this lifestyle and pass it on to your kids at a young age, they adapt. They really take hold of it. They really fall in love with their fruits and vegetables, and it's amazing just to watch her. Now for my teenager, he he still loves meat because he grew up a meat eater, and he's 15. But when I make those dishes that he's familiar with, that those are comfort foods for him, there's no problem. But, I still cook meat for him from time to time because he does crave it. So I don't really force it on him. I just want him to naturally adopt it. And I noticed a difference in his behavior as he's eating plant based. He's not as hyper. Uh, he can just chill out and relax. He's not as moody and angry as a typical teenager. And I noticed that for myself. I noticed a big difference from when I was feeding him a lot of meat and a lot of GMO foods compared to organic fruits and veggies. So his demeanor has changed, his behavior has changed somewhat, and his attitude. So it really heals you from the inside out. And let me tell you, he is so lean. Um, I have a lot of parents that come up to me and they ask me, what do you do with Kai? What are you feeding him? Is he in sports? And I'm like, well, no, but his body has just changed. He's just lean. He's sculpted, and he really doesn't work out that much, but he's an active kid, so it really just like tones him up and highlights his body. Yeah, and before that, it was not looking like that. So they even noticed the switch between how he was looking before and how he looks now.
That's a big deal when other people start to notice and come to ask you. And really, you're saying it's as simple as making these alterations and we're going to substitute this for this. You're still going to have all the good stuff you want to eat. We're just going to change how we do it. So, this is a sort of a personal question because we have this in our house. My
Okay.
oldest has an allergy to certain nuts. So I
Okay.
know a lot of recipes in particular will call for things like cashews to thicken sauces. Is
Mhm.
there something else that's plant based that we could use instead of those nuts?
Yes, because actually, I'm one of those vegans. I don't like cashews. So I don't use any cashews in none of my recipes. If you notice, I don't cook with cashews. I don't blend cashews to make sauces. It's just too much work for me. And then also, cashews are acidic. So I try not to take those in because I want my body in an alkaline state. And cashews are acidic, so if I'm constantly taking those in or constantly making dishes with cashews, that's going against what I believe in and what I want for my body. So if you follow me and just try my recipes, none of them are used with cashews, and I found a substitute that gives you that creamy consistency without using cashews, and it's actually called Ripple. It's a plant-based half and half that I swear by. But it's called Ripple. Yeah, yeah.
That is so good to know because there's so many recipes. I've invested in a lot of different vegan cookbooks and pretty much every recipe uses those nuts, particularly cashews. Sometimes they use walnuts and those other things, which she's
Mhm.
also allergic to. So I'll have to come in and watch some more of these videos of yours. And I gotta find this Ripple stuff. We don't live in a big city, so there's not access to a Trader Joe's or a Whole Foods or
Well,
anything
they
like that.
actually carry it at Target. So Ripple is quite popular. So
Okay.
you might be able to find it at your local grocery store,
Okay.
Target, or Whole Foods. Yeah, I've been able to find it everywhere, surprisingly.
Okay. And we don't have a Target either, so it
Oh, you
requires us to
don't?
leave town. So I may
Okay.
have to go to our local grocery store and ask them to start carrying it for me.
Oh, okay, yeah. And if because if you do have it in your local grocery store, it'll be next to the coffee creamer.
Okay.
So it'll be yeah, by the like the creamers or the half and half. Yeah, somewhere in
Okay.
there.
I will definitely look for that because it'll be nice to be able to use something like that versus some of the other things we're currently using because we went through a phase too where we were vegan for a short amount of time to kind of see, and we all had great benefits from it.
Yeah.
However, we found it really hard to maintain that, especially the summertime travels were around that time, and it was just difficult to maintain. And we kind of fell off that bandwagon as far as eating vegan. So I know I definitely want to bring it back. Getting rid of those other habits, though, that our kids develop without us really realizing until we try to change those habits. That's
Yeah.
what we're going to work on now. And I want to talk about the holidays because when it comes to holiday meals, usually they're very heavily meat based. They're
Yeah.
very heavily saturated fat based. They're just heavy foods. And I
Yeah.
know you have something special to help people when it comes to their holiday cooking. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, I actually recently released my holiday ebook. It's a vegan holiday ebook, and all of these recipes are definitely meat eater approved. My husband, he was a big meat eater. My father-in-law, even my kids. So all of these recipes are delicious. I have vegan mac and cheese. I have vegan cornbread, a sweet potato casserole. I have cracker candy. I have mashed potatoes and greens and black eyed peas. So these are some of the sides that you can incorporate with your traditional dishes to either put a spin on your whole meal as far as making it 80% vegan and 20% indulgence, or you can just do the whole vegan thing, or you can just add them with your meals that you're used to cooking as well, just to give people options, because that's what it's all about these days is options. You want to put them out there so people can, really decide for themselves. And a
Mhm.
lot of the dishes that I create, people think that it's meat. So yeah, you can really
That's
just sort of
great.
slide that in there without them even knowing, just to see what they say. And then just let them know, that was plant based. And that might spark something in them to where they're like, oh, really? Well, let me try this out. And they won't be so reluctant to, try eating their veggies, because it's all about the taste. And that's why flavor is your best friend when you're eating veggies. And I always say, for example, if you have a steak and you don't season that steak, it's not going to taste good. It's just going to be bland. So that's where you really get your flavor from, your seasonings. And when I say seasonings, I don't mean a whole bunch of salt, but that's where you can start to explore your onion powder and your garlic powder and your turmeric and your oregano and basil. You just have so many seasonings and flavors that you can combine with your veggies to make them the dish that you're really going to enjoy.
Oh, and you're making me hungry just talking about all these things. Tell us where we can find this ebook.
Okay, so you can find this ebook if you go to In the Kitchen with Kim. I have it at the top of my page, where the website would go. I just have it connected there. Or you can go to my Instagram, that's In the Kitchen with Kim as well. And the link is in my bio. So it's those two places. And if you're already like on my page or you follow me, then I post something, or I try to post something weekly as a reminder about my holiday ebook. So you'll find a link in the description as well.
Amazing. I'm going to have to go grab that so I can start doing replacements without saying anything, but just do it because that might go
Yes.
over a little better.
Yes, yes, yes. That's what I did with my kids. And I know the oldest one, he was like, wait a minute. But with some dishes, he just didn't know at all. But with some, if it's just like all veggies, then he'll give me that look out out the top of his glasses, because he wears glasses. So yeah, it's the look that I know as a mom for my
Right.
kids. So
And we've
it's
all we've
funny to
all
see.
seen that look for sure. For sure. And for those of you joining live, Cindy Lou and Camille, if you have questions for Kim, please pop them down below. If you're watching on the
Absolutely.
replay, definitely let's continue this conversation and ask your questions. So you share where you can find the ebook, where you can connect with you on Instagram and on Facebook. So I want to make sure everyone does that, because if you're looking to heal your body from the inside out, Kim is going to be your new best friend.
Yes.
Kim, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom today and for really leading people on this amazing journey, showing them it doesn't have to be hard. We just need to make little changes along the way to get to that
Yes.
compound effect of really starting to heal our bodies. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And thanks everyone for tuning in, catching live, watching the replay, or listening on the podcast. I will catch you all very soon. Cheers, my
Okay.
friends.